Welcome to Prestige Motorsports Performance Center. I'm Doug Aitken, and today we're going to show you a little bit about what we do here at Prestige. So let's go take a look. Alright, so we're at the back portion of our shop here where we have our fabrication area, as well as these last few bays is generally our initial teardown. For those of you that don't know, obviously we have our engine manufacturing in Concord, and 15 minutes up the road, our Performance Vehicle Center is where we do the full-on restorations. Our primary focus is going to be American muscle, early and late model, but we do an arraignment of a lot of other stuff as well. So we'll walk you through kind of a process when a vehicle first arrives for a full-on restoration or restomod. All right, so we're gonna just kind of focus on this car because it's a new arrival. So this particular car is a 67 Mercury Cougar, and this is basically gonna be a full-on restomod and restoration project. And the way they roll in, what we do is kind of initial discovery and go through some immediate things that we know that the customer's wants and needs and desires are. And generally, from that point, then it goes into teardown. So in this area here, we'll tear it down, we will bag and tag everything, and one of two or three things is we'll send it off for media blast or chemical dip. That way, when it returns, we can basically look to see what we're working with, whether or not there's any rust repair needed, and so forth. So although this one's not stripped, this is a perfect example of kind of what they go through when the vehicle's returned from being stripped or chemical dipped. We've got this particular Pantera sitting on our surface plate, and this provides us the ability to get proper ride height and chassis height measurements. This particular one is under the knife pretty heavily. What we tend to find with these older vehicles is a ton of rust. They need a lot of rust repair. So that's where it kind of starts, is in this area here in our fabrication department, and to go ahead and do all the rust repair, any kind of modification to the body, whether it be drip rail moldings that are shaved, door handles shaved, do all the gapping and all the heavy fabrication work before we go into down the line of doing engine mock-up and wiring and all the other fun stuff that comes along with these custom builds. So after any of the body modifications, metal repair, enhancements, customizations, then we basically go into that initial mock-up phase and build the vehicle out. So this is another example of one, again, not blasted and or chem dip. This particular client wanted us to build the vehicle out, be able to run and drive it, and give us feedback, the things he likes, dislikes, or maybe he just loves it. But we get a little bit of time to run and drive it, put it through its paces, and then we'll blow the car back apart and completely strip it, paint it, and it will go back together just like a Lego block. So this particular one's got a lot of closeout panels that go in the engine bay here that will cover up all of these lines that are exposed, so it's a little bit different. Sometimes guys want the closeout panels, or they want stuff to be visible. If it's tucked, clean wiring, is just whatever the customer's decision-making criteria is, we're here to make that happen. So we did go ahead and rebuild this particular engine combination and try to keep it as factory stock as possible. These, unlike the custom builds, they come with their own complexities. Finding parts sometimes is a lot harder. Sometimes they don't even make it anymore. So you do run into those things that are a little bit different than the custom builds. They're kind of one-off and you build them as you go, where these are more of a nut and bolt restoration, back to the factory original, kind of back to the factory original gaps and those sorts of things. So they're a little easier in some aspects, but a little bit more difficult in finding the correct parts to make them the numbers matching restoration that those customers desire. I don't want to forget about this Mercury Cyclone over here. This is very similar to the Mach 1, as it's a numbers matching original car, and you don't see a lot of these in the wild. So we're going to retain the factory paint, and this will get some minor upgrades. The engine is also over at the engine manufacturing facility for a full rebuild and some simple upgrades as well. So aside from the restomods, the restorations, we also get into more your high performance and race style stuff. So this particular Mustang, it's came in for some updates. It's one of our engine packages, boost ready 363, so it's getting a cooling system update, fuel system update, sandwich intercooler with a new high ram. So lots of fabrication involved in this, lots of wiring involved in this. So it follows all the same things as the restoration. It's just its main purpose is for something totally different. So in the final assembly area of the shop, we have one in here that's getting a pre-delivery inspection. So the final inspection, it'll get the final buff and clean before it gets shipped back to the customer. I believe this one's going to California, but a 68 Mustang. And this came in as very similar to the 67 Cougar. It got totally tore down, basically mock everything up, and it received our full driveline package, the ultimate turnkey package. So everything from radiator to the fuel system and everything in between. This one's a 427. It's got the Borla 8-stack, 5-speed Tremec. So everything on this car has basically been touched, refurbished, or brand new, as you can see. So we're just doing the final checks and balances before we can send this one back to the customer. So if you're looking for a upgrade shop, restoration facility, and you want the job done right, and the details matter to you, then we are definitely the facility for you. If none of these details matter, then nothing we do matters. So obviously I'm talking about large projects, big projects, but we do simple installs, brake upgrades, transmission swaps, and also supercharger installs. The main thing is being clean and organized. So no matter how big or how small that project is, organization for us is key, and that keeps us productive throughout those projects. So simple repowers. This particular truck, that's what it came in for. This customer bought this truck. It had a lot of loose ends, and so we built a new engine. So we were doing a repower for them and just tidied up some other loose ends on cooling system, fuel system. And as always, they always want more. These vehicles are 40, 50, 60 plus years old. All right, so as I mentioned previously, we cover everything from, you know, your early and late model American muscle, a lot of one-off, just crazy weird stuff, and obviously offshore marine, some elegant marine. So we've done quite a few of those projects in-house as well. I guess my main suggestion to anybody that's going to embark on some sort of restoration, again, whether it be automotive or marine related, that do your due diligence on the company that you're working with. Obviously we're making this video to show you our facility and the attention to detail, but I would encourage you, because of the cost on a lot of these types of restomods and restorations, they're $250,000+ is what does it take to fly out to the facility and go see it for yourself. Really make sure that that's somebody that you want to spend your hard-earned money with, and really look into what are their processes. Everything from the initial discovery to the planning stages to how does the production go, what are the payment schedules, all of those nitty-gritty details are super important. So when you're ready to modify your next vehicle and or do a full-on restoration or restomod, give us a call here at Prestige Motorsports.